Welcome back. Today we're going to take a little bit of a detour from a little bit coaching, educating style and talk about just something pretty cool. We're going to talk about Alice. Why she's got me so hyped. Level 2 Umbra? Level 2 Advanced Element. That's crazy. So let's just give me my raw thoughts here. First off, I've never seen Alice in Wonderland, so I'm not going to get any of these references. Tell me in the comments. Why is it so cool that we have a level 2 Advanced Element champion? Well, for starters, we can play Exalted cards much sooner now. Which, I mean, much to my dismay, Regal Inquisition is going to happen much sooner. Most of the time, level 3 strats, like, if you hit level 3 before your opponent, and they couldn't really stop Regal Inquisition, like they weren't Assassin, good examples, like, let's say you're playing against Crux, and they're level 2, right? And you go, Regal Inquisition? Oh, you have 3 ghosts in your hand. Oh, yeah, that's a shame. That's gone. Bye-bye. Yeah, so that's kind of scary. The fact that a level 2 deck can Regal me before I'm even remotely close to level 3, like, that's terrifying. I mean, even in some capacity, they could also just, like, Regal Creative Shocks away if I choose not to play a creative in response. So, like, Exalted cards, it's kind of scary. I don't know. Obviously, this is being recorded before the entire set is released, but I would imagine that we're going to get more Exalted Element cards, like Exalted Water, Fire, and Wind. I don't know how good they plan to make these, but again, like, a level 2 being able to get these Exalted cards that quick is definitely something to keep on your radar, and definitely something that's got me super stoked, because there's some level 2, or there's some Exalted cards like Imperial Accord. Imperial Accord is a pretty good card that is kind of locked by the fact that you have to be a level 3 Advanced Element deck to do it, at least in the current game right now. But you can imagine, hey, rather than pay 1 to level to 1, 2 to level to 2, and 3 to level to 3, rather than pay a total of 6 influence, losing that as I level up, I can just pay 1, 2, 3. I can pay 3 influence and get to my Advanced Element much sooner, and play Imperial Accord, like, more or less. I'll have Imperial online before my opponent can even get level 3. And that was kind of one of the things that gated Imperial Accord a little bit, in my opinion, is, 1, it really only affected certain decks, but 2, it wasn't online as fast as it could have been, or should have been, I guess. Like Frostbind, that thing's always ready to go. But Imperial Accord is only going to matter when you play against an Advanced Element deck, and they're usually going to hit it at the same time you do, like hit being able to play their Advanced Elements. But usually, if, like, your opponent goes first and sees a DG, dude, they're playing Ghost of Pendragon before you even get the chance to play Imperial Accord. So that's always cool. Having Advanced Elements or Exalted cards unlocked that quick, yeah, I'm pretty stoked for that. On top of that, her level 1 lineage. So, okay, her level 2 is a little weird. You do kind of have to play a curse in order to not take a crap ton of damage. Exercise curses, bring them back. They're like, exercise curses against Alice is probably gonna be crazy. She'll die in an instant. But her level 1 ability, where it just says, hey, lineage release, recover, I think it's like 2 plus X, where X is the number of cards in your lineage. It's not going to be impossible or crazy to imagine that you have at least 4 cards in your lineage when you perform that action. So her level 1, while getting you the mastery, is also effectively reading like a Serene Spirit. I'm just going to recover anywhere from, let's say, 4 to 6, which, that's pretty darn good. Don't get me wrong, her level 2 has the drawback of taking 7 if you play an Advanced Element card without having I think it has to be a curse. So, but that's easily remedied. I mean, there's a bunch of curse cards we can play. So that's something that is pretty cool. You can run double Serene, not double Serene, but you can run Serene Spirit, and her level 1 is effectively Serene Recovery. So you can kind of play both. That's a lot of recovery. And that's not including the cards in the game that you would be playing alongside her. That's just her, like, a lineage. Also, really cool. I think she's the first champion outside of something like a Lubu or a Trisket that we can play from the material deck that it would become like a single entity or object in the lineage, like a single lineage thing. I guess outside of the curses, but like imagine you go Spirit and then Serene Spirit, and then you go level 1 Alice, and then level 2. You could just lineage release Spirit and Alice, and you literally just have in your lineage is level 2. That's it. That's it. That's all you have. So that's kind of cool. Just I'm so used to having a stack, slowly building up of my champion, and I'm gonna end up with this level 2 champion that's just by itself. Just hey, that is an anomaly. But yeah, I know. But yeah, and obviously the I guess the elephant in the room is like being able to play Umbra. Umbra at level 2, like you get to play Siphoning Fractals on like turn 2 or 3. I mean, you can pass turn, play a Creative Shock, Pitch Float, Liminal, whatever, and then level up for free. Let's say, level up and then DG to 2, and then play like double Siphoning Fractal. Actually, yeah, you literally could do that. You literally could go Creative Shock, Pitch Float, level to 1, DG to 2, and then play 2 Siphoning Fractals. Like, dude, 2 Siphoning Fractals on turn 2 is insane. I mean, not versus every single deck, but that is insane. Insane versus anyone else. Because now you've got, anytime an ally dies, which you're going to be one playing allies that die because her mastery triggers whenever a Spectre dies. So, like, that's just wild. That's just wild to me. I think that she's going to be crazy good. There's obviously no class with her because she's an anomaly until they release anomaly cards that have class bonuses with them. But if you take a look at the Umbra pool, like, half of the Umbra cards are just generically good. Like, Carter only sees play because he has class bonus cleave. But, like, Spirel, for example. Spirel's a 2-cost, on enter, deal 3 damage. And then you can pay 2 to have her effectively re-trigger her on-enter ability while also doing whatever else she's doing, like negating the card, putting it back in memory. Imagine you can have that online turn 2 or 3. Same with the DG example. You can have that online that fast. And not only that, you get to do that with an insanely high influence pool. Because before, again, you had to pay 6. Well, normally 6. If you DG'd, it was kind of like paying 6, but you had to pay a lot more to get to that class, so you didn't have as much influence if you were to turbo to it, unless of course you hit the stone cold nuts and you just like triple Creative Shocked your opponent all the way up to 3. Bravo, your mom must be so proud of you. But that's not normal. So being able to play a Spirel with like 9 or 10 influence on turn 2 or 3, probably closer to 3, but that's insane. Being able to just play with that many cards and play those advanced elements, it's going to be crazy. She's also, because I think you can run any Glimpse Spirit with her, because again, her level 1 lineage release, like, you're going to have built-in recovery. I think, like I said, level 1 is 2 plus X, where X is the number of cards in the lineage. I'm fairly certain if you ran a Serene Spirit and you ran the level 1/2 Alice, the Serene Spirit can recover you 6. Her lineage release, if you do it before lineage releasing your spirit, you could recover with her level 1. I think you could recover minimum 4. So what that effectively means is you have recovery 4 and then a recovery 6. That's recovery 10, which effectively means you have 32 health. Now, again, you're going to take 7 damage on the first, advanced element card you play, but that's a lot of health. And that's not including things like Siphoning Fractals triggering. So I think, because you can get to level 2 so fast, and because you can play Serene Spirits, I honestly think she's one of the few champions, if not the only champion, that you could legit play like a 30 to 40 card Umbra deck. Like, that's not insane to think about. You literally just need to find 2 neutral lines to level up to 1, and then level up to 2. That's literally it. The rest of your deck could be Umbra. And again, there's a lot of generic Umbra, like Slipaway. Slipaway is a card that obviously never really saw too much play because it needed to be imbued to really use its effectiveness. But it's a 2-cost card, Umbra card, that if imbued, your champion just gets Spell Shroud and Stealth. Like, Innervate Agility on steroids. Hello? Like, that's crazy. Now, again, Nullifying Mirror could stop it, but Still, that's bonkers. That is just bonkers that you can have access to cards like those. So there's a whole bunch of generic cards that she is just going to love playing. And I would imagine that the way you're going to want to build her is obviously going to be a little bit graveyard oriented with some of the cards we did see, like the Jabberwocky, the Resurrection spell. Like, those are all really good. So I would imagine her deck is going to look like 30 to 40 Umbra cards and then 20 of everything else. Because you don't necessarily need to run a ton of floating memory. You don't need to run, a bunch of creative shocks. I mean, if you're playing fire, you probably still want to, because it is still a neutral line. But, like, you don't need to play all this engine, that these loser level 3 strats have to play. You don't need to do that, because you're only paying a total of 3 influence to get to your end game. Now, that is the one thing that she might have a problem with, is what is her end game. So right now it seems like her end game is the Jabberwocky, but I honestly think you could make her more of a, let's say, tempo style deck where she's like level 2 Nico. Way back in the day when she was released, her win con or kill was with Ravishing Finale, but you could stay level 1 and then go to level 2 and then do whatever you wanted, or just go to level 2. You have access to like Vapor Jet Shield, Magebane Lash, Claymore, like, and you just slowly whittle your opponent down, but you whittle them down a little bit faster when you hit level 2. I'm wondering if she's going to be like that, where you hit level 2, you get to play things like Sporel, Siphoning Fractals, and just kind of speed along that chipping. But again, she's going to have access to all of these advanced element cards way sooner, so you might be able to capitalize on some really nice and gnarly tempo. Again, imagine Sporel's out there, and your opponent's like, I'd really like to play Creative Shock to go to level 3. It'd be a shame if I Sporel'd that. Sorry, put it back in your memory and hope you lose it on level up. You don't get to discard. You don't get your draw cards. You don't get your value. So that's got me super stoked. Again, her mastery is a little funky. I don't know how we're going to be able to utilize that, but Alice is the future. I'm already calling it right now. A hot take, Alice is busted. This champion is going to be busted on release. You're going to have exalted cards that we haven't seen yet that are going to be crazy, or it's just honestly going to be too overwhelming to be able to deal with a Umbra champion by turn 2. It's just going to be too much. Hot take, absolute cinema, Alice busted.